Hamakani, Homaya Bemi, Nishinana Mimiwakamni, Lidam Lily, Yapimni, Ustama, Hedidi. A-U-U-E-Anam, A-U-U-E-Anam. Uh-oh, hold on. I got froggy. Whew, okay, let's try that again. I have to disengage my thoughts from my neck. Gee, see, this is why I waited to have wine till after I spoke, so. All right. A-U-U-E-Anam, 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 A-U-U-Bineta, Estumiani-Miamenam, Le-U-E-O, 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 Le-U-U, A-U-U-E-Anam, 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 A-U-U-Bineta, Estumiani-Miamenam, Le-U-E-O, 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 A-U-U-E-Anam, 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 A-U-U-Bineta, Estumiani-Miamenam, Le-U-E-O, 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 A-U-U-E-Anam, A-U-U-E-Anam. Hui! Hui, 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 hui. Woo! All right, thank you. Estom Yanim Yamanan. Estom Yanim is our sacred mountain for the Nisenan, is the place where all life comes from and where we go when we die, where we have our spirit food and meet our ancestors, and then we go off to the Milky Way. And the name we know it today is Marysville Butte, and the other S Buttes that Grandpa said it was impolite to call it that, which I can see why now that I'm this age, and calling something by that name is pretty, that's something that's sacred by that name is pretty crazy. So thank you all for coming tonight. There's so much fabulous art here to be seen and to be taken in. When we started Visibility Through Art, how many years, Mira? Where's Mira? Oh, Mira, four, anybody? Somebody, 1, 5, 10, 30 years ago? No? How many years ago did we start? 2017. You guys can do the math. You know, it really started with the conversation with Mira. We met for a completely different reason in town for coffee, and I didn't even know if I knew she was an artist, and we got on the topic of art, and dun, 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 here we are today. There are conversations, I think, that are being had now about social justice and equity and the land acknowledgements that I've heard that all kinds of organizations are doing. People in their Zoom meetings, I just heard from somebody tonight that, you know, their land acknowledgements that are happening to acknowledge the land and the atrocities that happen here. That, you know, at least, I know that I'm really old, but at least in my time in school, it was never spoken of. And when we tried to talk about the boarding schools or the loss of life here, it was always met with, you guys don't write anything down, so how do you know, like, what happened 400 years ago? That's a mentality that unfortunately still exists in a lot of academia. And I know those doors are opening and things are changing. But what we found was through art, of course, right? Through art, we can enter these conversations. I think there's a little back door in people, you know, that you get around defenses, and none of these conversations are meant to blame anybody or make anybody feel bad. And, you know, for my family, we are also part old guy miner who came here and settled the land and homesteaded the land and actually provided protection because you don't see a lot of Nisenan around today. And so our family was strangely fortunate in that happening. Granted, Grandma was like 12, but there's always the other side of these conversations. But through art, we can enter conversations. I don't think we get the defenses up. Like if I want to step up to somebody and talk about, the genocide of the California Indian, it doesn't work the same way as getting people in and looking at amazing art and entering that through the back door, I think, is the way in. So thank you for coming. Some of the pieces are for sale tonight, which is the first time we've done this. The entire night was supposed to be filled with art that could be sold. That was the purpose. And as the art is created, it's just like, we can't let go of that. And so I'm fighting with myself. If it was up to the elders, none of it would be sold. I'll tell you that right now. So it's been and I keep saying, but someday they'll be on the tribal walls of our tribal offices, and which the walls we don't have right now. So eventually they will have a home and a place to be. But the ones that are sold, like those dollars are so important to everything that we do. And I am so proud of my staff. Did you guys hear what I just said? My staff. I have staff. I must have been saying that for 15 years. One day I'm going to have staff, and then just look out, watch what we're going to do. So Mira, who is our art coordinator, Mira Clark. It's funny, all my staff is so sweet too. I don't know why. Where's Ember? She's there. Ember. Thank you to Andres and my Kavi for lending me Ember all the time, I know. Oh no, this is gonna make me cry. I know I steal her from you a lot. But I love her. Okay, I like her. I love her. She's amazing. Where's the rest of staffies? Is Ruth here tonight yet? No? She left. Oh, she was here, mister? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Is Lindsay here? Where's Lindsay? Okay. Where is my other staff? I thought I had more than that. And then today, our volunteers that help, thank you all so much. I also have some chirp board members here tonight. One of our newest members, Miss Nikila Badua, is in the house right there. Woo, 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 woo. Nikila. I got Julie Baker over here in the house. I saw Neil. Where's Neil? Neil? Are you still here, Neil?
He's here.
Neil?
Hi, Neil.
Neil. Hi, Neil. There he is. Okay. Do we have any other chirp board members tonight that are present? Just us, our Marie. Where's my Marie? There she is. There's my Marie. Marie Sue. And then there were some family members here. Have they all departed already? Saxon Thomas? Anyone? Jennifer? Aunt Cindy? I think they all left. Gosh, dang it. Anyway, thank you all. Thank you to the artists for such beautiful, amazing, deep, meaningful art. Thank you for listening to me babble on for hours and hours and hours to help us all navigate this very strange moment that we stay between the rails of what could be very easily, with just a couple steps to the side, could be cultural appropriation. And, we're asking for this to happen. We need visibility and hours of listening to me yap. Anybody can attest to that. So. All right, well, I'm going to be quiet now. Thank you all so much. I hope you had some good food. I hope that you had some wine, if that's your style. And I'm going to throw it over to my colleague here. All right, thank you, Ekwa.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I'm Mira. I've been the art coordinator since 2017, as Shelly told you. So, yeah. So I've had the privilege to watch this collaborative art project grow and change over the years, with all of the incredible education and visibility and community solidarity that comes with this work. Each year we take about 6 months or even longer to develop the art that you see on the walls, and we begin with many meetings with Shelly, who shares the history of the Nisenan with artists and what the tribe wants to see for that year. And it's such an incredible, incredible journey. And I've watched the trust grow over the years, the culture and history, sharing, and all of the amazing work that goes into this. Many of our artists have been with us since the inception of this project. So I just want to take another moment to thank you all for your dedication and time and the donation of your artwork. It's huge. So as Shelly mentioned, this year we geared the theme to be a little bit broader because it's one of the first times that most of the new art is going to be for sale as a fundraiser for CHIRP. And if you're interested in one of these pieces, you can talk to Lindsay, who's at the front desk. Yeah, it's big. Yeah. As someone who grew up in Nevada County, I have a deep sense of gratitude and love for the land and the ecology here. And over time, I've come to see that the land and the ecology of this place, the people and the land are interwoven. And through working with CHIRP, I've learned the depth of the connection that the Nisenan have to their ancestral homelands. And this year's Visibility Through Art theme, Destruction of the Land, Destruction of the People, seeks to explore this connection through art. And I don't believe we can see destruction of the environment as separate from human rights issues and what Indigenous people have faced and continue to face as their homelands are exploited and colonized. And I think the more we as settlers on different lands can step into listening and learning from and being guided by the Indigenous people of the areas that we're inhabiting, the happier and healthier our environments and our communities will be. Yeah. And I don't think we can move forward to a better relationship with place without a better relationship to the original people of that place first. And I hope that this art serves as a doorway to understanding reciprocity and our interconnection, because at this point in history, we are painfully and powerfully and crucially intertwined with our environments and each other. So, yeah, I think that art is a really incredible way to demonstrate and teach. The evolution of this project has highlighted how much education can occur through the medium of art and the ability it has to shape community awareness and change. I think it's really incredible to see what we can create together, especially with a model like this, where the Nevada City Rancheria Nisenan tribe is guiding and asking for this work, and the art you see is a direct result of that respectful partnership and, and story sharing process. I say this every year, and it's because it really needs to be acknowledged that this work has always required a great level of trust. So I want to deeply thank the Nisenan and thank Shelly for allowing artists in this way and allowing us to collaborate with you. It's a huge honor. Yeah, and I also want to thank all of our volunteers and supporters. It would not be possible without you. I have a statement to read from CHIRP, which is about the prints that are for sale up front. And these prints are from previous years as well as a couple from this year. In order to promote education and visibility, CHIRP has thoughtfully priced these prints so they remain at an accessible price point in conjunction with our nonprofit mission. Participating artists in CHIRP's Visibility Through Art initiative have given their permission for these prints to be sold at what may be significantly lower prices than they would normally sell for. For that, we thank our artists. Thank you all. Yeah. Yeah, this project is a huge demonstration of community on both sides, so I just want to say that again. And now we're going to hear from a number of our artists. Is Andy Cerrona? Andy! All right, thank you.
Hi, Shelly. How are you?
Hey y'all, thank you so much for coming out. Means a lot. My name is Andrew Cerrona, and thank you, Shelly, for inviting us all to be here with you and to the other tribe members and to Mira. Been involved since, I guess, 2017, and it's been a journey, a very humbling and beautiful journey. I also grew up here, and to not really have known any of this history until that time, and I'm 38 now, was kind of was a very surprising journey and a very important thing for me to be educated in. So that was the humbling piece, and if you're interested in a book that has been really impactful, this is History of Us by Richard Johnson. He's the tribal chairman. It's inspired a lot of my work past couple years. This year I did something really random. My friends at the river one day, Mira, Jose, Chris, rescued this enormous piece of foam in the Uba, probably from maybe a dredging machine or something like that. We decided to carve it into a large fish. It's hanging in the window now. So that was a piece of trash. It's not supposed to look particularly ornate, but just a statement piece of, something that also used to be here, talking about the destruction of the people, destruction of the land, was just salmon running in these rivers. So it's kind of interesting how that just showed up and how Mira always gets me involved with random stuff like that. Really grateful. So thank you. Thanks for being here, and take some time to look around for sure and feel into it with your hearts. Appreciate you.
Check.
Hello. Thank you so much for coming tonight and supporting the tribe. This is my first experience being an artist in this show. And it was really, it was a deep experience. I don't know exactly where to start, honestly. I guess with the sketch, the first thing I did was I submitted a sketch, and in that sketch I wanted to have represented a life-giving force, the Uba River that brings food to the indigenous peoples of these lands, being cut off by a dam. So that was sort of an initial thing, a story that I heard from Shelly about how her grandfather didn't like them to swim in Bullard's Bar Dam because that dam is actually built on the burning grounds of the Nisenan. So the Nisenan used to burn their homes. When they died, they burned the bodies, and then they would burn their belongings, and then they'd also burn the homes. In the pre-gold mining times, they lived in hubos, and they still had some hubos during that time, but those are the bark homes, the little round houses. And then in the gold mining times, they lived in shacks. And so I wanted to represent the burning of the burning grounds, the original burning grounds and what happened in their tradition. And so I put that in the painting, and that's my painting over there, by the way. I'm looking at it as I'm talking to track what I'm gonna say to you guys. I wanted to honor Shelly because I've known Shelly not personally. This is kind of our first time kind of getting to know each other more. But I've seen her and I've watched her, and I get really teary. It's just like, how much can we each get done in a lifetime? And whatever we get done, it's enough. And that's really what that painting is all about, is to just say, whatever you get done in this lifetime, you know, as the tribe, and that it's enough. And we just got to just keep our hearts open. And so anyway, she's in an hourglass, and she's got her arms around these babies, but the babies are representing the tribe. And the book that Andy was holding up, actually the author of the book is in there, the little boy playing in the sand. And so she's a doula. She's helping her tribe rebirth, be seen. And the pileated woodpeckers were her idea. I love collaborations. And she wanted the regalia, the headdress, beautiful. The underpainting is a nice earthy clay, which I wanted to represent the earth around here. And one exciting part about this is two last things, and then I'll get out of your way. The mycelium. I really wanted mycelium in that painting, and it came through so beautifully, and it's the intelligence of the land, and it's our connection, and it's, there's so much happening in that painting, but that is, for me, the most exciting part of the painting. And I guess I want to just say that when I was painting that, the hut on the right, I was really tight, and I was really trying to figure out, how do you paint flames? I've never painted flames, and so I was struggling with the flames and getting real tight, and then I started thinking, what am I doing? This is the ancestors' home. Like, let's just feel the spirit of the ancestor, feel their celebrations, their griefs, their everything that's happened in their life. And so I started really getting those flames down, and I was just really going, and all of a sudden these dogs started barking outside, and they're just really barking and going crazy outside. So I stopped, and I put everything down and went outside and walked out to my driveway, and at the end of my driveway is a bear, and he's just, just staring right at me. And I always felt like, well, a couple of things, I put the bear in there. I feel like Shelly has a mama bear spirit, but I also kind of feel like that hut on the right, I feel like whoever that hut belonged to had bear spirit. And so, what an honor. And what an honor. Thank you so much.
Ron?
Hello, everyone. Well, I wrote my stuff down, so I'm going to read it to you, because I spent some time with it. Okay. Is that better? Okay. I've lived in Nevada County for more than 50 years, but the Nisenan folks have lived here for more than 12,000 years. Big difference. Today, we walk on top of their cities and enjoy the natural beauty that once was theirs to oversee. I'm so pleased to be part of this exhibit honoring the culture and people of the Nisenan tribe, paying tribute to our first people through my art as a blessing that allows me to tell the story that hopefully leads to greater understanding, enhanced communication, and meaningful historical perspective. I call my art commentary art because I'm basically a visual storyteller. My contribution to this year's exhibit is a painting called Historical Trauma, which is over there. I was deeply affected by an essay I read about the Nisenan experience with this phenomena, how events in the past, in this case, the brutal treatment of the tribe by those who came here to hunt for gold, after more than 150 years, still has an emotional effect on present-day tribal members. There's a birch tree in the corner of our backyard garden, and at the base of the tree is a sculpture of a Buddha head by a local artist, Deborah Bridges. After a violent spring storm standing on my porch, I noticed that a large branch had broken free and landed next to the sculpture without damaging the piece. At that moment, I was thinking about what to paint for this exhibition, and it came to me that what I was looking at could be a powerful allegory for this topic. I asked my tribal contact about meaningful colors and animals and incorporated the answers into the painting. As a closing remark, I just want to let you know that the topic of historical trauma is especially meaningful to me. I'm the son of an Auschwitz survivor. And even though that event was more than 70 years ago, I can still feel the reverberations today. I'm happy to answer any questions about the painting and what I just said. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Andres, and this is my son, Kavi. Thank you, Shelly, for the honor of inviting me to participate in this important program. It brings a level of depth to the work that I do that makes what I do feel much more meaningful. I primarily create temporary, large-scale art that incorporates the landscape and using local materials that can dissolve back into nature. And when possible, I try to incorporate historical and cultural impacts in that location. For this artwork, I worked very closely with Shelly to develop the concept. And we came to, my work is right here, it's called Washed Away. And then these rocks over here. And I used red clay, which can only be gathered where the earth has been scarred, because otherwise it gets grown over or it gets washed away also. So it either erodes or you just don't see it unless you come across a development. So, and there's a bunch of those happening right now, and a lot of red clay. So I gathered that and went to a remote spot on the Uba where the granite provides an amazing canvas. So the real artwork is actually not these prints, but my intention was that it would be a video of the actual washing it away, and which you can see by following the code on my little placard. And when that was happening, I was reproducing the metaphor is very direct of the hydro mining, and actually my son has a couple of his own paintings in the back there, so that's why I brought him up. And I took him to several locations. We were supposed to do 3, and we tried the third one, but it wasn't working out as well, but we have those 2. A couple of locations that are heavily impacted by human mining, places that were mined, or like Pioneer Park that are very altered from what they were. And had Kavi just draw his impressions. And they're very beautiful places, and we can see the beauty and how nature is returning. But so the real piece then was the washing it away, and seeing the beauty even in that process, the perverse beauty of like the blood. As the clay came down, it felt like blood washing into the water. And so very impactful to watch that video. And kind of a last minute inclusion were this installation of rocks. And there were so many patterns I wanted to put into the artwork, but I just decided I'll just stick with one and make it big. And I was happy that worked out. But I wanted to do so much more. I was so inspired by this project and working with the clay. And so this installation of rocks came about. And as a counterpoint to the heaviness of the main piece is this one's called Still Here. And because the Nisenan are still here, and that's the whole reason that Chirp exists and that this gallery is here. And so thank you for your support of their work. Thank you.
Jennifer Rugge here.
Yes, thank you. Nisenan Nik Pe'a, which means I speak Nisenan, but I really don't. But I'm learning about it. My project was to bring the rebirth of the language back. And so I worked closely with Shelly, listening to old recordings of Nisenan tribal people that are not alive today that were speaking Nisenan. So with Shelly's help and my linguistic background, I was able to put together 12 panels of artwork with expressing the numbers, starting with Wute, which is 1, all the way to Macham, which is 10. So you're welcome to have a look at it. Each of the panels is made with earth paints. I mix my own paints from earth. And I also have a linguistics background, so doing this project was quite an adventure for me, and it was a story unfolding for me, not just for Shelly. It was quite an experience, and I'm so glad that I was able to do that. So please have a look, and yeah. Oh, there's prints. There's prints. That's a poster. Our photographer, Danny Joy, put together a poster of the Nisenan panels, and then they are also available individually. And on the poster, it has not just the numbers, but it has the names of the animals, and it has the pronunciation as close as we could get it to English. So you can learn some Nisenan yourself.
Nikila.
Aloha Kakao from the home island of where I'm from, Oahu, Hawaii, and Miigwech from my maternal lineage of First Nations Anishinaabe, and Wenum Honimni, which means my heart is good in Nisenan, and just honoring the ancestors here. I don't really know what I want to share just yet. I painted the piece that's in the window of, I call her Auntie Babe. And the funny thing is that like my closest auntie is Auntie Baby. I worked with Shelly on this piece. She's a Nisenan Kankau basket weaver. And as a freelance artist, I really have a lot of respect for the traditional arts And it was something that it really resonated with me when one day I went to the Firehouse Museum, right by Treats. There's a lot of Nisenan baskets and photographs and books over there that you can check out. And when I went there, Shelly had shared this story with me about how the baskets that are there, how old are those baskets, do you know?
Most of them are from like the late 1800s to early 1900s, so they were still in use, but still made by the old ladies up on the reservation. They were still hanging on, and the funny thing is, like, my grandma always talked so much about the iron pans, like it was the biggest deal. Like iron pans were like it, and just to think that those old ladies were still, like, they didn't even have their iron pan. That kind of makes me sad. Like, they were still using the old baskets, and they're all repaired and still in use even then.
So like, yeah, late 1800s, and yeah, the baskets there. I mean, I just want to honor California tribes in general that have some of the most beautiful indigenous basketry in the world. And I call myself a cultural community artist. It's been my focus for a long time. I work with a lot of indigenous tribes, and through that work, I started working with different basket weaving lineage holders. And so I felt really honored to have been able to create a piece of Babe that is this ever unfolding piece that seems to get little bits. If you notice, it's not complete, and it's an organic process. But I was going to share the story about when I went to see Shelly in the Firehouse Museum. She told me this story that how the baskets for them is like they're living beings, and they have songs for them. And how sometimes they come and they sing these songs to the baskets, but how foreign it feels because those baskets in there are some of the oldest baskets that they still have, and they're behind this glass. And as living beings, they're being preserved in this museum, but their natural life cycle is really like a person. It's created, it's utilized, and then it ages and it returns to the earth. And the fact that they, how she told me that they sing to the baskets to honor them, it just really touched me. And I guess as an artist, I create a lot of people, and I feel a resonance within that, because I feel like every painting that I create, there's such a deep connection with whatever being person, whether they are an actual person from this earthly plane or someone that just comes out from the spirit plane. There's a deep connection and resonance, a spirit connection. So I guess the last thing I will share is why I am part of this project and just the work with Chirp that we've been doing. I met Shelly in 2017, and at the time I was about to open up a business here, and I kind of seeked out Shelly because as somebody who wants to open up a business and represent some certain types of cultural initiatives, it was really important to me to first how I was taught is that you receive protocol. For protocol, you ask permission. And so that's how Shelly and I started building an allyship, and I'm really honored to still be building together, part of the Chirp board now. And I also give my humble monthly donation and to Chirp, because I really believe in, because they're not federally recognized like many tribes are, it's really important for us as a community to come and say, we recognize the people here. So, you know, I give what I can. It's a monthly donation as a freelance artist here, and for me, that's my little humble land tax, you know. So thank you, and I just want to encourage everyone else to, you know, to please support wherever you, if you live here or wherever, just support your local tribes. And thank you to this land.
Bishop. So to finish our talks, Bishop's going to read a poem.
How's it going, everyone? Thanks for, thank you. My name is Bishop Randall, and I'm going to share a poem to close tonight. This poem was based off the piece that I created for the project, off of Shelly's grandmother's basket. Weavers tend to carry the stories, the songs, long after they are often gone. So this is in respect and in honor to the original people of this place, the Nisenan. Interwoven. Weavers of plants, of people, weavers of place and memory, bound together by time, by rhythm, through fiber woven, through song, story, language, a tapestry of tongue that passes down from one generation to the next, from ear to ear, hand to hand, renewed, made visible again. This land shaped by ancestors' word, this basket that holds our dreams. Sequences of interwoven pattern, mirrored images, infinitely repeating, within each knot, within us all.
Awesome. I'm just a weepy mess over here. Jeez. So many amazing words. Thank you all so very much. So I wanted to talk just a tiny bit before we go about the vision for this place. So it keeps changing. I think there's a heartbeat and life of its own that the only way, and I swear this isn't an excuse either. If my mom was here, she'd be looking at me like, but honestly, the only way for some things to form is to just like step back and watch it for a second. You know, like what's it gonna be? What does it want to be? What resonates for this town? You know, it's one of my, I'll just be really honest, it's a little bit of a scary thing still. We had our last show up in the windows, the Indians, Irony and Identity, and it was a kitsch show. I don't know if any of you saw it, but it's talking about stereotypes. And a lot of people aren't ready to address some of these things. And I saw the reactions of some people reading it, and in a better day, I would have gotten out of my car and gone up and said, hey, I see you really reacting. Can we talk? Because I'm curious. I want to know. But instead, I just sat in my car and went, okay, I'm going to wait till they leave, you know, because I'm a chicken. No, but there was, thank you. There was a lot of gesturing and like what the penguin. I like a lot when people get really mad. I'm like, what's going on with this? And it was around the toys, the cowboys and Indians. And I mean, in my view, there was nothing, the verbiage, the interpretation, I'm always careful. I don't want to get to people's defenses. I'm not like, blam in your face, you know. I want to talk and then just like happen to talk about things and, you know, have conversations. And, but it was around that, the identity of like playing cowboys and Indians. And that it can be part of someone's identity, no matter what I mean, I can't even guess what ends up being part of my identity, that if somebody were to call me on that it's taking away a piece of me and a piece of who I am. And that's how I felt watching this person. I felt like I imagine he felt like we were trying to take away something that was maybe his good memory or his good, I don't know. But I still have a fear of that, and I worry about our town, like their opinion of us. I worry about that a lot. My elders worry about it more. And so it makes it hard to be, because inside I think there's definitely part of me that's just like, yeah, like what are we gonna do now? My one idea was like to have the whole room red and like one pedestal in the middle with just a big old, I don't know where we'd get the big old chunk of gold, but gold. And like no interpretation, no nothing, just like let people come in and, just, but and then I'm like, is our town going to boycott that? Or, I don't know. So it's an experience, and I do believe that we need to step back and we need to let it live and grow as it's going to. And I think like now, visibility through art, while I lament that we're not in the winery, because that's such a party. But now it's in our own space and we don't have to worry about, we were just talking like, when do we put it up? When do we take it down? I'm like, when do we want to put it up and take it down? Yeah, so eventually, I do plan to have some retail, authentic Native American wares. I know that a lot of my family and my friends and colleagues in Native American communities don't necessarily have a platform other than Etsy to sell their things. And I think it would be beautiful to have little bits and highlight the artists, and bring some yummy blings and stuff to our town. All right, thanks everybody. Stay, have food, wine, drinks. Let's party a little bit. Yay!